As part of the drumming community, or as somebody looking to join the drumming community, you may already be aware of the dilemma between electronic drums and acoustic drums. Which one should you buy? Should you practice on electronic drums? Can you gig with them? And in this video, I want to show you 5 ways that electronic drums can actually be just as good as acoustic drums, if not perform better and make you a better drummer overall. So if you're one of the many people who are currently on the fence about whether or not to buy an electronic drum kit, then stick around to the end of this video and hopefully I can help to inform your decision on what's best for you. Scenario 1, where electronic drums make absolutely no difference to your learning process and outcome, is when you're learning song structures. It doesn't matter if you're playing an acoustic kit or if you're playing an electronic drum kit. If you're listening to the song, trying to know where the intro is, the verses are, the chorus is, should you move to the ride cymbal, where's the breakdown, where are the stops, then it's going to make no difference if you're playing on a £2,000 acoustic kit with all the cymbals in the world, or if you're playing on a £50 electronic kit. That's not really going to make any difference.
It's got a picture of some happy children.
You could even argue that you don't need any drums at all to learn the song structure. So in that case, it's much easier oftentimes to actually play on an electronic drum kit because you don't have to worry about the neighbours. You've got all of the normal electronic drum kit advantages, and often you can just plug in your phone to the line input. You can easily get the levels. I can start and stop anytime I want, and I can just rewind, just go back. It's much easier. Scenario 2 is when you're learning any kind of movement pattern. Now this does come with a little bit of a caveat. Of course, if your electronic drum kit setup doesn't closely enough resemble your acoustic setup, then you may have some difficulty when you come to switch from the electronic to the acoustic. But the important thing to do is, of course, when you're buying an electronic drum kit, make sure that you get one that is actually able to be set up as you want it. So if the pads are super small, or if the frame's really small, or worst case, if it's a tabletop kit, I would probably just say avoid them. Just avoid them anyway. But if it's a kit like that, you're not really going to be able to make it feel in any way, shape or form like your acoustic kit. So something like my Roland TD30, of course, it's a pricey kit, but if you can afford it and it's a good investment for yourself, then something like that is going to make it much easier to transfer anything that you learn from electronic to acoustic. Scenario 3 is if you're trying to learn double kick, or really any kind of bass drum pattern, because of course the electronic bass drum, especially if it's a mesh skin, feels pretty much exactly the same, at least to my feet, as an acoustic bass drum. It really doesn't make any difference. Of course, if you're playing on a snare drum and you can feel that the skins are mesh and there's a little bit of a difference in kind of tension, things like that. I do have a video about tuning mesh skins to feel more realistic, by the way. You can see that if you click the link above me now. But really, with the bass drum, it doesn't make a big difference. And for me, I've never been very good at double bass. And actually this year I've put in a huge amount of time to try and get even semi-decent at playing with a double bass drum pedal. And if I'd done that on my acoustic kit, I think I might have been reported to the police, because it would have been go 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 da da go 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 da go 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 da go 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 da. It would have really been a lot for anybody to listen to in the surrounding half a mile. So playing it on my electronic kit has actually made a big difference. I mean, you could even argue you don't even need the drum kit on, but it's great because I can use the click, which is built into pretty much any electronic drum kit, including the really cheap Carlsbad Rock 50 kit, which I bought as a joke, which is actually for children. Even that's got a click. So having the click available means that learning double bass, or learning, even just those kind of fast single notes with a single pedal, are far easier on an electronic drum kit. Scenario 4, where electronic drums can maybe even be better than acoustic drums, is if you're recording some kind of demo. Now, what do I mean by this? Let's say you're in a band and you and your band members come up with a song idea, something original, and you kind of want to take it home with you and work on what you're playing as a drummer, as your drum part for that song. So maybe you record, whether it be on your phone or like a Zoom or something like that, you record just the drumless version. You get the band to play the song without you on it so that you can take it away and work on it. It's great if you can then, again, just plug in your phone to your electronic kit and then you can just record. You can take a line out, or you can just normally record even, there'll be actually a record button on the brain in a lot of cases. And then you haven't got to worry about syncing it up. You haven't got to worry about setting up drum microphones or anything like that. And you've also got much more scope if you want to try and manipulate it a little bit, add some effects and things like that. It's a much easier process. So on my electronic kit, I often record using the 8 direct out channels, which gives me full control of the kit. I've got bass drum, snare drum, toms left and right, cymbals left and right, hi-hat and ride cymbal all on different tracks. And it just means I can manipulate it, I can EQ it, add some mastering, things like that if I really want to go that far. But it means that if I'm just putting something together just to show somebody what I might play, then it means it's much, much easier than having to do it on the acoustic kit. And of course, again, I've got that flexibility that I can use any time of the day, and I can just sit down and have a play. As an added bonus point, just before we move on to number 5, if you've got an acoustic kit and an electronic drum kit, and you are actually set up for home recording in the way that I am here, and I maybe have a client come to the house and we want to work out exactly what I'm going to play before we record it, then again, what I've done in the past is had somebody sit literally next to my kit, my electronic kit. I've played the song, I've played along to it, and they can literally just talk as I'm playing and go, oh, could you move to the ride in a second? Could you add a fill there? Or, oh, that bit's coming up. There's a guitar solo coming up. Can you go to this or whatever? Again, it's much easier. It's something that we can't do just using the acoustic kit. And then the great thing is I can make sure that I nail everything I want to nail, switch to the acoustic kit, probably get the track, hopefully, with any luck and a prevailing wind, in 2 or 3 takes. So it makes the process much easier, and it's much easier to communicate with the client as well. Scenario 5 is any kind of sticking patterns. Now you may be thinking, well, how is this different to movement patterns? We've already discussed that. But what I mean is, let's say you're learning a groove and it's hi-hat, snare, and bass drum. Now, there's going to be some sticking, especially let's say you're looking at some kind of linear drumming chop pattern that you've seen on the internet, and it's quite complicated. It's going to take a little while, maybe. Then it's really, really great that we can just sit down and we can play dead slow. Again, we can use the click if we want, or we can not bother, and we can just get the volumes right down. We can maybe have the video in front of us. One of my favorite things to do with the electronic kit is actually to set my iPad up, and I can have YouTube on, and I can play along to the YouTube video if I really need to. I can even slow the YouTube video down, turn the sound off, whatever I want to do, but I can do that. I can hear the YouTube video on my iPad without plugging the iPad in, just straight from the, above the kit, because there's no real volume to contend with. If you have any questions about any of the points that I've raised in this video, then please feel free to leave a comment down below. Leave a like if you've enjoyed the video. The likes really help the algorithm. I'd love to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you can help me out, I'd massively appreciate that. And if you'd like to support my work further, then I have an Etsy store where I sell digital prints of my photography work, which has been taken all around the world, and I can post anywhere in the world. So if you'd like to check that out, there's a link in the description below. It'd really, really help me out. Thank you guys. I'll see you again in the next one. Perhaps I'll do a 5 points where electronic drums are not as good as acoustic drums, because we are not biased here on electronic drum tips. We are just providing... What are we providing? I don't know what I'm providing. Anyway, I'll be back at some point.